Now we're looking at fire safety part 2. Our main aim for you guys is for you to be able to list the 4 main classes of fire, which you should be able to do already from the last session. Explain the correct procedure when using a fire extinguisher. It's called the pass procedure, and we'll look at that at the end of this section. And also I want you guys to be able to recognise the different extinguishers and know which fire they should be used to extinguish. Okay. Extinguishers. Okay. If you have to put out a fire, you'll have to use the correct type of extinguisher. It's very, very important to familiarise yourself with the correct types of extinguisher and know which fires they can be used on, because in some cases, if you use the wrong extinguisher on the wrong type of fire, you can significantly increase the risk to yourself and others. These are the sort of 4 main ones that we need to know about. Water, which is a red band; powder, which is a blue band; foam, which has a sort of creamy band; and carbon dioxide, which has got a black band. Okay, some of the key information here. Water, you can only really use water on a Class A fire. Powder's pretty good. We call it an ABC extinguisher. It's good for Class A, B and C. You can also use it on E as well, and F if needs be. Foam is best used on a Class B fire, liquid fires, but you can also use them to put out Class A fires as well. And carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the ideal one for an electrical fire because it doesn't damage the electrical equipment further than the fire already has done, which your powder one does. But you can't use CO2 in a Class A fire because quite often what can happen is it squishes out gas, obviously, really quickly, which can spread debris and cause the fire to spread. But we're going to look at each of these in a little bit more depth over the rest of this PowerPoint. Okay. So, different types of extinguisher. We use water only for Class A fires, only for wood, paper and textiles, etc. Powder is good for A, B, C, F and E, or E and F. Foam is good for A, B and F. We can't use foam for flammable gases. We can't use foam for electrical because it's water based. CO2 we can use for flammable liquids, flammable gases, fats and oils and electrical hazards, but we can't use them for for paper, wood and textiles because of the risk of it's spreading the debris, as I've mentioned earlier. Okay, so you shouldn't use hose reels which contain water or water extinguishers on live electrical equipment, any fire containing fats, oils or paints, because it will cause them to flare right up, or any metal fire or any electrical fire, because then you're at risk of electrocution. Okay, ABC dry powder, it's mainly red with a blue band. It's can be used for solids, liquids, gases or electrical equipment. There is a special type of powder extinguisher which can be used to put out metal fires. Water extinguishers is just red. It's the red body with a red band. We can only use water on Class A fires, wood, paper and textiles. Should not be used on flammable liquids. Foam is red with a cream band. We can use it on solids and liquid fires. It tends to be preferred for liquid fires as the sort of ideal choice. And CO2 is red with a black band, and we mainly use it for liquid fires, Class B fires, or electrical equipment. Fire blankets are the ideal tool of choice for kitchen fires, for Class F fires. Okay. A couple of tips: never use a fire extinguisher unless you've been trained to do so. Make sure that you always use the correct extinguisher for the correct fire. Obviously, don't use a water extinguisher on an electrical fire or a water extinguisher on a oil fire. Don't hold the nozzle of a carbon dioxide extinguisher because it gets very, very cold and it can cause freeze burns on your hands. Also, another tip, don't use carbon dioxide extinguisher in a small room or a confined space. The reason for that is because it potentially could sort of expel all of the air from the room and cause suffocation. And the correct method of use for these extinguishers is what we call the pass method. The P stands for pull the pin, A stands for aim the nozzle, and you'd aim the nozzle towards the base of the flames in most circumstances, and then S is squeeze. First S is squeeze the handle, and then sweep the base of the flames. So you pull the pin, aim the nozzle at the base of the flames, squeeze the handle, and then sweep from side to side at the base of the flames to put out the fire. Okay, now it's time for your task.